Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Lagos Aviation Academy. My name is Rewan, and I'll be your training facilitator for today. I'll be taking you on the course Basic Ticketing and Reservation with Amadeus. The objectives of the course today is Introduction to Ticketing, Phonetic Alphabet, Introduction to Global Distribution System, Encoding and Decoding Airport Codes, City Codes, and Country Codes, Class of Services, and Types of Passengers, then encoding and decoding using Amadeus. Firstly, let's go to phonetic alphabet. We use the phonetic alphabet widely in the aviation industry as a means of communicating clearly and easily. With the same way we have the ABC is the same thing we use in the aviation industry. But in the aviation industry, the ABC, for example, the A stands for Alpha, B for Bravo, C for Charlie, D for Delta, E for Echo, F for Foxtrot or Father, G for Golf, H for Hotel, I for India, J for Juliet, K for Kilo, L for Lima, M for Mike, N for November, O for Oscar, P for Papa, Q for Quebec, R for Romeo, S for Sierra, T for Tango, U for Uniform, V for Victor, W for Whiskey, X for X-ray, Y for Yankee, and Z for Zulu. That's the way we use it in the aviation industry. Now let's go through these together. The phonetic aviation alphabets. Now let's do Lagos Aviation Academy together. The Lagos, the L stands for Lima, A for Alpha, G for Golf, O for Oscar, S for Sierra. The aviation, the first A stands for Alpha, V for Victor, I for India, A for Alpha, T for Tango, I for India, O for Oscar, and N for November. Then the Academy, A for Alpha, C for Charlie, A for Alpha, D for Delta, E for Echo, M for Mike, and Y for Yankee. Now, we'll talk briefly on electronic ticketing. We need to know what an electronic ticketing is. Electronic ticketing is a method of documenting the sale and tracking the usage of passenger transportation without the issuance of paper documents. About 10 to 15 years ago, we used paper documents. Now, to furthermore, instead of processing a paper document, all the information related to a passenger itinerary are stored in an electronic ticket. That is, your passenger don't need to go to the airport with a paper document. You can easily send them. You can easily forward your passenger. You can easily forward your passenger itinerary to you or her on the phone. How does it work? The process of e-ticketing is predicated on an effective and efficient information computer communication technology, that is ICT. When a travel agent makes the command to issue a ticket, a message is sent to the validating carrier or airline computer system to inform it that a ticket is about to sold or a ticket is about to issue. If you want to communicate with an airline, there are some ways you communicate with your airline. But once a travel agent tries to communicate, the airline will see it automatically and knows that a travel agent wants to communicate with them. Now let's look at global distribution system. What is a global distribution system? It is a worldwide computerized reservation network used as a single point of access for reserving airline seats, hotel rooms, rental car, and other travel-related items by travel agents, online reservation sites, and large corporations. Now, this virtual is not only airline that use GDS. If I say GDS, it's a short form of global distribution system. The same things go for the hotel, car rental, rail, be it rail as well. We book them through GDS as well. Now, travel agents communicate with the airline through global distribution system. The premier global distribution systems are Amadeus, Galileo, Sabre, and WorldSpan. That is, we have different types of global distribution system. We have the Amadeus, we have the Galileo, we have the Sabre, and we have Waspan. But for the purpose of this training, we will only be talking on Amadeus. Now let's go to city codes, airport codes, and airline codes. City codes, they are used or are codes. They are codes developed and used by the aviation professional in order to refer to cities in different countries in a shorthand way. If you're booking a ticket, you communicate with the airline with a 3-letter city code. You don't have to write it in full, though there are some ways you decode it if you don't know the 3-letter city code for each city, but we're still coming there. So there are 3-letter city codes. Now let's go to the airport code. The airport codes are also 3 letters. They are used to identify and differentiate airports within the same city or different cities by travel professionals when making reservations. Though there are some states or some cities that have more than one airport. Now let's go to the airline codes. The airline codes are 2-letter codes to identify every transporting carrier or airline operating within and outside the country. Now let's take note. The city codes are always 3 letters, airport codes 3 letters, and the airline codes are always 2 letters. Encoding city. Now let's do this together. We have the city name, city code, country name, and area. The first one, we have Lagos. The city code for Lagos is LOS. That is Lima, Oscar, Sierra. Though people are very, very common. People are very used to calling Lagos LAG, L-A-G. But the code for Lagos is LOS. The country code is NG. And the country name is Nigeria and is in Africa, which is Area 2. Now, the second one is Madrid. City code for Madrid is MAD, Mike Alpha Delta. The country code is ES. And the country name is Spain. It's also in Area 2. The third one, we have Frankfurt. The city code for Frankfurt is FRA, Father Romeo Alpha. The country code is DE. Then the country name is Germany, and it's also in Area 2. It's in Europe. Then the third one, we have Auckland. The city code for Auckland is AKL, Alpha Kilo Lima. And the country code is NZ, that is Nancy Zulu, or November Zulu. And the country name is New Zealand. It's in Area 3 at the Southwest Pacific. Then the fifth one, we have New York. The city code is NYK. And the country code is US. The country name, United States, and is in Area 1, the North America. Now the sixth one, we have Moscow. The code for Moscow is MOW, Mike, Oscar, and Whiskey. And the country code is RU. Note we have two country code for RU. They are part of Russia that you have at the Asia, and there are some part of Russia you have in the Europe, which is the Moscow and the St. Petersburg. It falls under the Europe, while the other fall under Asia. So the code for Russia, we have 2 codes for Russia. We have that for the Asia, and we have that for the Europe. So Moscow, it falls under Europe. Like we said, the city code is MOW. So the country code for Russia in Europe is RU. Then the country name is Russia, and it's also in Area 2. The 7th one, we have Accra. The city code is ACC. The country code is GH. The country name is Ghana, and it's also in Area 2. It's in Africa. The last one, we have Vancouver. The city code for Vancouver is YVR. Most Canada cities or states, it starts from Y. YVR Vancouver, YMQ Montreal, YAZ Halifax, and so on. For Vancouver, it's YVR. Then the country code, it's CAN, the country name is Canada, and it's in Area 1. It's also in North America. Now, decoding city codes. The first one we did was encoding city name. Now, we'll be doing decoding city codes. The first one we'll be talking about, the city code is MAA, Mike Alpha Alpha. The city name is Chennai. Country code IN. The country name India. Area, it's in area 3. That is South Asia subcontinent is in area 3. Then the next one we'll be looking at is LOS. That is Lima Oscar Sierra. The city name is Lagos. Like I said, LOS is Lagos, not LAG, like people usually say. LOS, the city code, city name Lagos, country code NG, country name Nigeria, and the area, it's in area 2. The next one is PAR, Papa Alpha Romeo. The city name is Paris. The city name is Paris. We have the country code, and the country name is France. It's also in area 2. The next one is Jeddah. The next one is JED. That is Juliet Elko Delta. The city name is Jeddah. Country code is SA. Then the country name is Saudi Arabia. It's also in area 2. That's the Middle East. The next one is Boston. BOS. That is Bravo Oscar Sierra. City name Boston. Country code US. Country name United States. It's in area 1. The next one is BUE. Bravo Uniform Echo. The city name is Buenos Aires. I know most people are not familiar with that. Buenos Aires. It's in Argentina. It's a city in Argentina. The country code is AR, Alpha Romeo. The country name is Argentina, and it's in area 1. It's in South America. The next one is MAD, Mike Alpha Delta. City name Madrid. Country code ES. Country name Spain. It's in area 2 as well. It's in Europe. And the last one there, we have ACC, Alpha Charlie Charlie. The city name is Accra. Country code GH. Country name Ghana. And area, it's in area 2. It's in Africa. Now let's move to classes of travel. We have 3 classes of travel. We have the first class, which is usually represented by F, that is father. Next to that, we have the business class or intermediate class, which is always represented with C, Charlie, and we have the economy, which is mostly represented with Y, Yankee. The first class is always the most expensive class of all classes of travel. Next to it is the business class, and now to the Yankee class. Now let's look at reservation booking designator or class code. The transportation class, like I said, first class. The first one we're looking at is first class. Reservation classes, we have P. There are some cases you see P, Papa. It's always a first class premium. Now, if you're on booking platform, let's say on Amadeus, if you're checking for a fare, it gives you the different classes of service. But before you come to F, it will have given you some classes, which are always the premium. You have the premium. Same things go to your business class, and same thing go to your Y. Now, the first one we're talking about is P, which is first class premium. Then the next to that is F, which is first class. And last to that is A, that is alpha, which is first class discounted. That is, we have first class premium, we have first class, and we have first class discounted. You might wish to travel and you might be traveling on, let's say, first class, on first class. There are different type of first class. We have the, like we said, we have the first class premium, we have the first class, and we have the first class discounted. The cost of each are different from one another. Now, next to that, we have another transportation class that we'll be talking about now is the business class. The reservation classes, we have the J Juliet, which is business class premium. We have the C class, the Charlie class, which is business class. And we have the Delta, we have India, we have Zulu. Any of you can see any of it. They might use, depending on the airline, they can decide to use D class, which is Delta. They can decide to use I, which is India, and they can decide to use the Z, which is Zulu. They are all business class discounted. The same thing that applies to the first class, that we have first class premium, first class, and first class discounted. The same thing applies to the business class as well. We have the business class premium, which is much more expensive than ordinary business class. Then we have the business class discounted, which is even more lower or more cheaper to ordinary business class. The next transportation class we'll be talking about is the economy class. Like I said, we have first class, we have business class, and we have economic class when we're talking about classes of travel. And I told you the first class is always the most expensive of the three. Next to it is the business class, and the cheapest is always the economic class. Reservation classes. We have the W, which is whiskey, which is economy premium. We have the Sierra, that is S class, and we have the Yankee class. They are both economic class. And we have B class, that is, we have Bravo, we have H, which is hotel, we have K, Lima, we have M, Mike, we have N, November, we have Q, Quebec, we have T for Tango, we have V for Victor, we have X, X-ray. All these classes I just named from B down to the X, they are all economy discounted. Take note, I told you, it depends on the airline your client is flying, or let's say it depends on the transporting airline. But in most cases, if you're on, like I said, we'll be talking about Amadeus. If you're on Amadeus, when you come to your Y, that's where your economic class starts from. From the Y down is your economic class. So from your Y, as you check down, the fare are always cheaper from one another. So that's why, like I said, we have economy premium, economic class, and we have economy discounted. Now let's go to the encoding airline codes. Like we know, we have different airlines. We have KLM, we have Air France, we have Royal Air Maroc, we have Iberia, we have Qatar, we have Emirates, we have Medview, and so on. So let's look about few of the airline. The first airline we'll be talking about is KLM Royal Dutch. Like we said, let me quickly draw your attention back. I told you city codes are always 3-letter. Country code are 2 letters, like we see there. Airport codes are always 3-letter. And I told you airline codes are always 2 letters. So airline codes and country codes are always 2 letters. The city codes are 3 letters, and the country codes are always 3 letters as well. So let's take note of that. The first airline we're talking about is KLM Royal Dutch. The airline code for KLM is KL, that is Kilo Lima. And each airline has their own country, or the particular country that owns them. So KLM is owned by Netherlands. Next to that, let's look at Air France. The code for Air France is AF, Alpha Father, or Alpha Foxtrot. And the airline country is France. Next to that, we have the British Airways. The code for airline code for British Airways is BA, that is Bravo Alpha. And the airline country is United Kingdom or Great Britain. That's Great Britain. Next to that is Egypt Air. Airline code for Egypt Air is MS, Mike Sierra. And the airline country is Egypt. Next to that, we have Emirates Airline. The code, airline code for Emirates Airline is EK, Echo Kilo, and the country is United Arab Emirates. The next one, we have Qatar Airways. The code for Qatar Airways is QR, Quebec Romeo, and the airline country is Qatar as well. Then the last one there, we have Kenya Airways. The airline code for Kenya Airways is KQ, Kilo Quebec, and the airline country is Kenya. Yeah, let me quickly chip in something before we move to most of these airlines. Whenever they depart, they always stop at the capital city of the country. Like KLM, it usually stops at Amsterdam. Air France at Paris. BA, it depends. It stops at London. Egypt Air at Cairo. Emirates at Dubai. Though Dubai is not the capital. It's not the capital for United Arab Emirates. It's Abu Dhabi. But Emirates stop at Dubai. Why we also have Etihad. Etihad is the the United Arab Emirates government owns Etihad. So Etihad, whenever I take up, it usually stop at Abu Dhabi. So that's different between Emirates and Etihad. Now for Qatar, it usually stop at Doha before moving to the next destination. Depends on where the client is going. Then Kenya, usually stop at Nairobi before proceeding to the other destination. Now, passenger classification and special category of passenger. Passengers are classified in different categories. The basis for passenger classifications are based on, the first one is age, and the next to that is the class of travel. Now, let's look at age firstly. Age classification on the basis of age can be, we have adults, we have child, and we have infants. Firstly, let's talk about adults. Adults, these are passengers who have attained the age of 12 years and above, and they pay the full fare for the journey. So once a passenger is 12 years old and above, he or she is classified as an adult. Then he or she has to pay the full fare for that journey. Let's say Lagos, Doha, London. Lagos, Doha, London, or Lagos, Doha, London, Lagos. Let's say the fare is 250,000 naira. If your client or the passenger is 12 years and above, he or she has to pay 250,000 naira. He has to pay the full fare for the journey. Next to that is child. Child, these are passengers who have attained 2 years but are less than 12 years old. Once the passenger is 2 years and is not up to 12 years old, such passenger is classified as a child. And it depends on the airline, and they are given discount of about 25% of an adult fare depending on the airline. Please, let's take note of that. Passengers who have attained 2 years but are less than 12 years, and they are given discount of about 25% of an adult fare depending on the airline. Let's take note of the depending on the airline. It depends on airline. Some might tell you, no, we're only giving 15%. Some might tell you 65%. Some might tell you 75%. But in most cases, it's always 25%. So a child will always pay 75% of an adult fare. They will always have a discount of 25%. Let's look at a scenario. Let's say if a client is traveling with his or her child, and let's say they're traveling, they will be spending like 3 weeks. They'll be spending like 3 weeks in London. Let's say Lagos, London, Lagos, and the client will be spending 3 weeks in Lagos. And let's assume the client will be spending 3 months in London. And by the time they are taking off, the child, or let's say the child is, let's say he or she is a year, or let's say he or she is a year and 11 months old by the time they are leaving Lagos for London. And by the time they will be coming, the child will be, the child will be saying will be 2 years and 2 months. For such child, for the airline, they will classify such. They won't classify such as an infant anymore. They will see it as a child, because when it's going, the child is a year and 11 months. That is, either he or she has not attained age of 2, but by the time they will be coming, he or she is more than age 2. That is 2 years and 2 months. So automatically, the airline will classify such passenger as a child, which means he or she will be paying 75% of the adult fare. If he or she is traveling with a mother, they'll be paying 75% of the mother fare. Now, next to that is the infant, which is the last there. The infant, these are passengers below the age of 2 and are allowed to pay 10% of the adult fare. That is, infants are always given 90% of the adult fare. They are not occupying a seat. It depends, though you can have an infant and you can decide to pay for a seat for the infant. It depends on the client or the passenger. But mostly, they pay 10% of the adult fare. Now, encoding and decoding using Amadeus. The encoding and decoding transaction allow you to do the following. Display the codes for a full name that you enter. That is, let's say you're trying to decode, let's say you are trying to decode Los Angeles. If you type in LAX, it will give you the full Los Angeles. That is, so it displays the code for a full name that you enter. Next, that is, it also displays the full name for a code that you enter. Oh, the first one, decode the full name that you enter. Let's say you want to get the 3-letter city code for Los Angeles and you type in Los Angeles. It will give you the 3-letter city code. It will decode it for you. Then the next, display the full name of the code you enter. Let's say you enter LAX as well. It will give you Los Angeles in full. It will spell it out for you in full. And apart from that, in some cases, it also displays a full list of codes. Depends on whatever you want to do. There are times you forget code, so there are ways you enter it to give you different codes you need. Now you can encode and decode the first one, location. You can always encode and decode location. When we're talking about location, we're talking about countries, states, and cities. And you can also encode and decode companies such as airline, hotel, cars, and rail. We'll be talking much more about that as we proceed. And you can also encode and decode equipment as well. We're talking about equipment, it's car and aircraft, and depends on equipment number and so on, the equipment types and so on. Encoding and decoding option. We have the encoding and we have the decoding. Encode, to encode for a location. Let's say, for example, let's say Riyadh. Riyadh is in Saudi Arabia, which is RIYADH, that is Romeo, India, Yankee, Alpha, Delta, Hotel. Riyadh, it's in Saudi Arabia. So to decode Saudi Arabia, you enter the, like I said, Amadeus, it has ways you send in information, it's interpreted for you. It has different codes that once you enter, it depends on whatever you want to do. For example, we said we want to decode Riyadh. So the Amadeus code you use for decoding Riyadh is DAN, Delta, Alpha, November. Just type in on your Amadeus, just type in DAL, then Riyadh. Some cases you can decide to, after your DAN, you can decide to leave a space, then type in Riyadh. It will give you what you want. And in some cases, in another way, you can decide to type DAN and type your Riyadh. You might not leave a space in between DAN and Riyadh. It will still give you the same thing you want. Next, to encode and decode a country. Again, for example, let's say we want to decode Qatar. The Amadeus code to use to decode Qatar is DC, Delta, Charlie. Then just type in Delta, Charlie, then Qatar. It will give you the code. It will give you the code, which is, and even if you enter it like that, DC, Qatar, it will tell you everything about Qatar. It will tell you Qatar code, the country code. which is key R. It will tell you it will tell you about the currency spent in Qatar, which is Riyadh, it will give you QAR, Kilo Alpha Romeo, QAR, that is Qatar Riyadh, and to tell you every other things about Qatar. Now, encode and decode a state. For example, let's say we want to decode Washington. The Amadeus code to use to decode in decoding Washington is DNS. DNS. Delta, November, Sierra. Then, like I told you, you can decide to leave a space and you can decide not to leave a space. Then type in Washington as in full. WASHINGTON. Just type it there. And you enter. It will give you the code for Washington. Yeah, there's let me chip in something. Yeah, to decode a state, like I said, the code is DNS. You can always refer to it as don't know state. The DNS, you can always say don't know state. Then Washington is to tell you about everything about Washington. It's to tell you about the airports in Washington, the number of airports there, both be it local and international. It's to tell you about rail service and so on. Now, next one is to encode and decode an airline. For example, let's say we want to decode Emirates. Let's say I'm trying to book online. I'm trying to book online on Amadeus, and I'm trying to book on Amadeus. It won't give me the airline platform. It won't give me anything like Amadeus. I have to know the two letter for the airline code. So to know to decode, let's say I want to book my client on Emirates. To decode the two letter for Emirates, and I know Emirates very well, I don't know the code. To decode Emirates, just when you're on your GDS platform on Amadeus, just type in DNA. Like I said, you can decide to leave a space and you might not leave a space. DNA Emirates. It will give you the airline code, which is EK, Echo Kilo. Now encode and decode an aircraft. It's also just type in DNE, that is Delta Nancy Echo. Then aircraft, just type it there. It will give you the aircraft. It will tell you the aircraft name, and it will give you the codes and everything. It's always, like I said, like when we talk about Washington, and I told you the code to decode the code. The Amadeus code to decode Washington is DNS. That is DNS to decode a city. And I told you it's always don't know city. You can always call it like that, don't know city. And when we want to check for, I told you to decode an airline is DNA. You can always call it don't know airline. And we just talk about to decode equipment, let's say equipment number, the aircraft type and so on. It's always DNE, don't know equipment. With that, once you're familiar with that, you can easily do anything. You are good to go to whenever you want to do anything. You are good to go on Amadeus. Now the next one is to decode an hotel. For example, let's say Marriott. The code is always DNH. Then you can decide to leave a space and you can decide not to leave a space. Then type Marriott. For example, DNH space Marriott, MARRIOTT, and type enter. It will tell you everything about Marriott. Then the DNH, the code we used, is always, you can always refer it to as don't know hotel. Now the next one is to decode a car company. For example, let's say Avis. The code to use on, if you're on Amadeus on your booking platform, you use DNC, Delta November Charlie. Then you can decide to leave a space and you might not leave a space, then type Avis, Alpha Victor Indian Sierra, AVIS. Type it there, then enter. The beauty of it is DNC is don't know car company or don't know company, whichever one you put there. It will display everything about the car rental company or this for you. Then to decode airport from 3-letter city codes. To decode airport, just type in DAC, Delta Alpha Charlie. Just type it there, decode a city or decode a airport to decode airport and decode city, they use the same codes. So it's always DAC. Just type DAC, then the city you want to decode, or the airport you want to decode, it will bring it out for you. Then to decode an airline 2-letter code, if you want to decode an airline code, let's say when you're checking for a fare, it gives you different airline, it gives you different airline, and whenever it's giving you different airline, it will only display their 2-letter code for you. It won't display the full, because they expect you to know the 2-letter code for the airline. But there are some cases you forget, or you might just, to be more sure, or to be double sure, you just have to quickly check. So use DNA to check. That is, don't know airline. Then you type the airline code. Let's say what you have there was KQ. So to be double sure, you just type DNA KQ. That is, don't know aircraft space KQ. Whenever you enter, it will give you Kenya Airways. Then decode airline number. It's also DNA. Just type in there, put the number. It will give you everything. It will give you all the information you need. Then list all airports for cities. The code for that is DB, Delta Bravo. Give you all the information you need. Now it's quiz time. It's a summary about everything we've been learning all this while. So let's look at the first one. The question 1. Travel agents communicate with the airline through dash. The first one, the option A is global distribution system. The option B is cyber cafe. The option C is visiting. And the option D is research. The question again, travel agents communicate with the airline through dash. And like we said, when we start, we said they communicate with the airline through global distribution system. So the correct answer is A, which is global distribution system. The second quiz, a worldwide computerized reservation network used as a single point of access for reserving airline seats, hotel rooms, rental cars, and other travel-related items by travel agents is known as dash. The first option, option A, is internet. Option B is networking. Option C is global distribution system. And option D is Facebook. So in our definition on global distribution system, we said a GDS, or a global distribution system, is a worldwide computerized reservation network used as a single point of access for reserving airline seats, hotel rooms, rental cars, and other travel-related items by travel agents. So the correct answer there is C, which is global distribution system. Let's go to option 3. Question 3. What is the country code of New Zealand? We've done that in our class today. We've talked about Auckland, and I told you it's in New Zealand. The code for Auckland, the city code is AKL, and we also talk about the country code as well. Now let's look at the options for the question 3. A is NZ, November Zulu. B is ND, November Delta. C is NE, November Echo. And D is NW, November Whiskey. So the correct answer is NZ. What is the country code of New Zealand? It is NZ, Nancy Zulu. So ND is wrong, NE is wrong, and NW is wrong. The fourth one, ES is the 2-letter code of which country? ES, Echo Sierra, is the 2-letter code of which country? Option A, Ethiopia. The B, Egypt. C, Spain. D, Denmark. We've talked about Spain, Madrid as well. And I told you the code for Madrid is MAD. Madrid is in Spain and is in Europe area 2. And we also talk about the country code, which is E-S. So Ethiopia is wrong, which is option A. Egypt, option B, is wrong. Spain, option C, is correct. And D, Denmark, option D, is wrong. Question 5. Chennai is a city in which country? Chennai, we've talked about Chennai today. It's an example in one of our... Chennai. Like I said, the city code for Chennai is MAA, Mike Alpha Alpha. And we said the country code is ID and is in Area 3. Like I said, is in Area 3, South Asia subcontinent. So let's look at the options. The question again, Chennai is a city in which country? The option is A, Pakistan, B, India, C, Qatar, and D, Oman. Option A, Pakistan, is wrong. Option B, India, is correct. Option C, Qatar, is wrong. And option D, Oman, is wrong as well. Now let's look at the question 6. Complete the following. Complete the following. It's on Aviation alphabet. What we have there is Amadeus. Amadeus. So what's the what's the alphabet aviation alphabet for Amadeus? The A is for Alpha, M for Mike, A for Alpha, D for Delta, E for Echo, U for Uniform, and S for Sierra. That's Amadeus. Question 7. The following are the 3 classes of travel except, that is, the following are the 3 classes of travel except, that is telling us 3 of the options or 3 of the answer are correct. So except. The first one, we have the option A, which is first class, B, option B, which is the business class, and C, option C, which is economic class, and D, option D, which is soft class. We've talked about classes of travel today, and we said we have 3 classes of travel. We have first class, we have business class, and we have the economic class. So for the question, the following are the 3 classes of travel. So the first option, first class, is correct. Option B, business class, is also correct. Option C, economic class, is also correct as well. Then option D, soft class, is wrong. Question 8. Passengers who have attained 2 years but are less than 12 years old are classified as dash. Let me take the question again. Passengers who have attained 2 years but are less than 12 years old are classified as dash. A, infant. B, child. C, adult. And D, baby. So A, infant, is wrong, because we said infant is if someone that has not reached age 2. So it means from a month or from a day old to, and he or she must have not reached age 2. So such passenger is classified as an infant. The next also, it means option A is wrong. Then option B, child. And we said a child is from 2 years to less than 12 years old. So, which means option B, child, is correct, because our question says passenger who have attained 2 years but are less than 12 years old are classified as dash. So option B, child, is correct. Let's look at the rest option. Option C, adult. We said an adult is from 12 years old above. So with our question, passenger who have attained 2 years but are less than 12, an adult is above 12 years old. So it means option C is wrong. And D, baby, it's also wrong as well. Question 9. What is the 2-letter airline code for British Airways? We've talked about airline codes today. I told them, like we've done for Air France, it's AF, for KLM, it's KL, for Kenya, it's KQ, For Ethiopia is ET. For Qatar is QR. For Egypt is MS. Now let's say, what is the two-letter airline code for British Airways? Option A, it said BA, that is Bravo Alpha, which is correct. Option B, AF, which is wrong. AF is the airline code for Air France. Option C, KQ, it's also wrong. KQ is airline code for Kenya Airways. And option D, MS, it is also wrong. MS is airline code for Egypt Air. So the correct answer is A, which is BA, that is British Airways. Question 10. Which of the following codes can be used to decode an airline name? Let me take it again. Which of the following codes can be used to decode an airline name? Option A, DNA. Option B, DAC. Option D, DAN. And option D, DC. Like I told you, there is always, it's very, very simple. I gave you a clue there, a clue. I said to decode airline, the DNA, it's always don't know airline. DNA, then type the airline name. It will give you the airline name. So it's DNA, don't know airline. So which is option, it means option A is correct. DAC is wrong. DAN is wrong. And DC is also wrong as well. So what if you need to make airline reservation to a destination you have never been to with your family? So how do you do that? So to know how to do that, find out how in our basic ticketing class commencing next Monday, that is August 21st, 2017. See you there. Your question, your comments and feedback is always welcome. Thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hope I tried.
Very well. The input was really good. Just that we advertised on Facebook and thank you this one. You stopped it. Okay. We just kept doing it.
Okay.
It's still on.